Men going their own way are destroying the economy.
Online movement, some of you may have heard of, called the men going their own way movement. It's like a male separatist movement, basically saying, oh, screw this, I'm off, everyone hates me. Men going their own way aren't men at all.
Men going their own way are destroying the economy. How are men going their own way destroying the economy? What are the implications of men walking away from society, choosing no longer to work more than they have to survive and thrive? And what effects will it have on society and women in society? Watch to the end of this video to get the answers to these questions and to understand the consequences of men going their own way and the implications it will have on our future. And now let's just go ahead and jump right into the very first video.
Have 7 million men ages 25 to 54 not working or looking for work. 7 million. You can't build a civilization, a culture, a nation, an economy on men who are not activated and working and producing. What it means is you have far more consumers than producers. And then you have a whole generation of young men that are going to vote to increase the taxes on men who are working, to reallocate wealth, which is stealing. And the result is, at some point, you run out of other people's money. That's why we now have record national debt. And now credit card debt in America has, for the first time, reached over $1 trillion. So men are not going to work or working. In addition, they are not generating income, but they're expecting the government to provide for them.
Well, I'm not a boy anymore, in case that's not obvious to the crowd, but I have raised 3 sons, all in their 20s now, which is one of the reasons I think I'm drawn to this work. And I think the very fact that that doesn't have an obvious answer anymore, that's a box with a big question mark in it now. And a lot of boys are struggling with that. And I would say that the best answer to that is probably not to tell, but to show. And what we should be showing is that mature masculinity, which is a phrase I much prefer to thinking about toxic and non-toxic, which maybe we'll get into, is actually just about being generative. I think I've tried to raise my boys. I think we should try to raise our sons that actually just being for yourself is the opposite of masculinity. That masculinity and being a boy is about relationships. It's about being generative. It's about giving more than you get. And so there's this online movement, some of you may have heard of, called the men going their own way movement. It's like a male separatist movement, basically saying, oh, screw this, I'm off, everyone hates me. Men going their own way aren't men at all, in my view. Is that men who are in communities, in families, who are kind of giving more than they get, that's what I think it means. That's what I think the aspiration should be. But I honestly think a lot of boys right now don't have a good answer, and so they go looking online for an answer and find some pretty bad ones.
Young guys are doing with their time and energy. Porn, social media, video games, the beast, the false prophet, and the antichrist. That's what they're doing. Single guys in your 20s, here's what we know. 68% of guys in their 20s today are not dating a woman, not intending to date a woman, have no actual interest in a relationship with a female, and are making no movement toward marriage whatsoever. In the last few years, a lot of young men just moved home with their mother. They have no intention of ever moving out until they can find a girlfriend in her 20s or 30s with a good job and low expectations. And then their hope is to move into her house and have her pick up where mom left off. And what these are generational curses and bad patterns that are destroying young men. Destroying young men. And today, young men are an endangered species.
Study called from the Pew Center Research conducted a study that said 63% of men under age 30 would rather stay home and watch porn than go on a date. Men say they are getting their needs met without having to go on a date. Would men rather stay single than be with a woman is the question.
This is why you should never cold approach a woman. Despite what many other of the female dating coaches will tell you, it's total crap. Approach is always this manifestation in your male mind that this woman, because she is so attractive, would benefit you and your life. But you have no idea if she is relationship material, if she is a rancid bitch, if you know what I'm talking about. The only reason you're approaching her is because you find her attractive, and then you're going to turn around and resent her for your entire life for having that power over you. It is purely shallow, and you are already setting up a poor power dynamic within a relationship if you do end up getting in one with this girl. So take it from big sis, meet them out in the wild, through friends, maybe online, But women don't deserve cold approach, not these women.
Being taken for granted.
But there's more, according to one economist. Some non-working men face a skills mismatch. A third have criminal records, making them ineligible for many jobs and making employers hesitant to hire them. And many rely on safety nets, such as disability. So you may wonder, what are these guys doing instead of work? Well, kind of what you might expect. Spending nearly 7 hours each weekday on average, relaxing, playing games, and watching TV. So
don't approach women anymore. So historically, women have always waited for men to make the first move. Is he going to go in for the kiss? Is he going to hold my hand? But now, whenever I talk to my friends about their dating history, all I hear them talking about is, oh, he hasn't made a move. He's not doing anything. We're not moving forward. So on the flip side of this normally ends up in men feeling like they're getting ghosted.
This girl sends me a message, says, hey, handsome, how's your day? So I send her a message back, not a good day. She's like, oh no, what's wrong? I'm like, I was day trading, took the long position in DJT, lost $25,000. And she's like, oh, I'm so sorry. I hope you make it back. I instantly hit her with a block. First of all, I'm in my soft guy era. I'm not day trading to lose money. If you find out that I lost $25,000 in the stock market, I better see you put that $25,000 back in my brokerage account. Drizzle Drizzle. If you can't put it in my brokerage account, Zelle me the money right now. Drizzle Drizzle. Second, I should not have had to tell you that I was having a bad day. You should be able to feel my energy, Drizzle Drizzle. If I manifested you because I don't chase, I attract, you should know already how I'm feeling before you send me that text message. Drizzle Drizzle. And
I wanted to record this video because how I said things in the last video, things got lost in translation and I offended people. That wasn't my intentions, and I'm not trying to single mom shame or anything. So let me clarify what I meant why modern men are not dating anymore. Besides the economic struggle a lot of us face, modern dating has turned into a free-for-all, at least in the social media space, because we cannot negate that media and social media doesn't have effect on our psyche and how we see day-to-day life. When I said back in the day people didn't date, what I mean is prior to 1960, the sexual revolution, people did not date around the way we date now. They courted with the intent of marriage. Now, was every single person following that? No. But the way we date now, how it's a free-for-all, how people do sleep together during the dating phase, that was not socially acceptable. That was just not normal. Were people doing it? Yes, but it was not normal. And if a woman happened to get pregnant, they would get married because socially, it was not okay for people to have premarital sex, have kids out of wedlock, and that be a-okay for everybody. That just was not a thing. So prior to the 1960s, people courted in order to decipher if somebody was prepared for marriage or decided if they wanted to marry that person. So my perception, what modern dating has turned into, at least from my viewpoint as a married woman, is turned into, you can't take me to chain restaurants. How much money has he spent on me? Now, is this every woman? No, but these are the loud voices that are representing Black women.
And don't pay for my food.
Really? You put the phone out?
Yeah, really? I put my phone out.
What steak is so good? That's cool.
If you invite somebody, don't y'all expect them to pay for your food? You Baby, invited me here.
Don't you expect it? Like, I don't pay for women if I can't touch them. Y'all look like y'all think because you pretty, I'm supposed to be just cashing my money.
The point of the date is to get to know each other.
We didn't know each other. I'm gonna eat. You pay for your food. I pay for my own food, right?
That wasn't part of the. When you invited me on a date, I expected you to pay. I don't have any money, and I told you that. And you still gonna sit here and eat in front of me?
Why would you come to a date with no money?
I thought you was gonna pay. You invited me. I didn't make plans. You made the plans. You made the plans. You should have the money.
No, you said we should go out to eat. I said, okay, cool.
No.
We're going out to eat.
No.
I divorced my wife because the way that she started dressing. I told her from the jump that I don't like women that dress provocative. I don't like that stuff at all. You have to dress modest. You know what I'm saying? Only dress provocative if it's just me and you inside the house. So she started hanging out with these girls from a job. And, you know, I met them. And I'm instantly just thinking in my mind that this is not a good group right here. This is one of them groups where she's not going to want to feel like she's being left out and stuff like that. And I told her, I said, I don't think you should be hanging out with these chicks because all these chicks are single. You know what I'm saying? None of these chicks are married. You know, single women, they tend to get married women in trouble. So after about like a month, you know what I'm saying, with her chilling with these girls, she started dressing like how they was dressing. And I'm like, whoa. I was like, where you going with that on? And then she told me, she like, it's just an outfit. It's not much. I'm just, you know, just dressing for the occasion. I'm like, no. I said, no, you got to take that off. I'm like, no, I don't care who you hanging with. You can't put that on, man. You're not fit to go out there dressed like that. And instead of her going to change, she left anyway. She said, no, this is what I'm going to wear. All my friends are dressing like this, and this is just what I'm going to wear. Okay. When she came back, it only take one time to do that thought stuff with me. You know what I'm saying? When she came back, 2 o'clock in the morning, all her stuff was outside. All of it. She was knocking on the door, calling my phone, asking me to let her in. I said, no, it's over. I said, you only got one time to do me like that. And I'm like, yeah, it's over. Nah, heck no. I asked you not to go out there and dress like that. You know what I'm saying? And stuff like you showing too much. I said, it's over. So I threw all her stuff out and then let her back in. Call her mom and call her dad. I said, it's over. I said, I don't talk to people that dress provocative. I don't talk to people like that. And now she want to start because she's hanging out with these girls.
How is it that I look like this today, yet no man wants me to be his girlfriend?
Is this a serious question? Because women just went from saying they rather pick a bear over a man. So why the hell would men approach you? Or even look in your direction? But not only that, so many women have taught men over the years that all men are predatorial, so the good men of the world gave up. And it's so funny because women will constantly say that men don't listen, but now that men are listening, y'all are wondering where the good guys are at, why they don't approach you anymore, and why men are just simply not interested. And why the hell would they be interested? They don't know if they're going to be the next subject of all men are trash content on social media. They don't know if they're going to be accused of doing something they didn't do. They don't know if they're going to be used for dates. They don't know if they're going to be manipulated and then called a narcissist. And in this particular video, she's also asking why didn't they approach her because she looks the way that she looks. But the bottom line is most women are basic. There's nothing special to them. We all look the freaking same. So yeah, you actually have to come with more than just your looks. You actually need a person.
I wanted to give my take on the passport boys, aka these men that are leaving the country to find their wives or to find women that they feel like are more traditional than American women. First comment, get a fucking grip. Like, are you guys really being fucking for real? The fact of the matter is the average woman does not even require that much. But the average man is not willing to even do the bare fucking minimum to get and keep a...
I'm at the airport in Atlanta, and I'm so overwhelmed with emotion. In addition to just feeling disrespected and unappreciated by men in my own life. It's another thing when you wake up to comments on the internet by other Black men who just hate Black women. Like, I don't know. I feel like everything Black women do is a problem. I don't feel safe, protected, loved around my own men of my race, and it hurts.
How old do you have to be then as a woman to be considered a leftover?
I think around 30, like after 30 years old. But if you're after 35 years old, then just you're out of the market. You know, it's more like you don't have to consider about getting married anymore. Just to maybe have a child on your own is the best way for you.
A lot of women chose to go down this route. And now you can see that MGTOW is destroying the economy. Women said that they would rather choose a bear over a man. They would rather run into a bear in the woods over a man because worst case scenario, the bear would finish his business within, a couple of minutes versus a man that might talk their ear off and leave them with years of trauma. lifelong trauma. This is how women view men in Western society presently. They need us, but they do not want us. And this is the reason why men have to continue to understand, go where you are appreciated, go where you are celebrated. Do not go where you are simply needed and endure. Because as soon as they no longer need you, they will just get rid of you.
Gentlemen, do you want to know the real reason why most women would pick a bear over a man? Because women are not taught how to deal with their trauma. Trauma's not our fault, but it does, unfortunately, become our responsibility. And rather than taking responsibility of our trauma, we expect it to be men's responsibility. Like, imagine you got robbed by Mexicans. Your trauma of being robbed by Mexicans is totally valid. What's not valid is going around saying that bears are inherently safer than all Mexicans. It's a gross perpetuation of trauma, and it's a way to avoid really dealing with it. And at the end of the day, it comes from trauma. These women have been traumatized and just never taught how to deal with that in a healthy way. So men, don't take it seriously and don't take it personally, because let's be honest, a lot of you would rather share your emotions with a dog than a woman, and a lot of us aren't shitting ourselves about it. So it's sexist, it's a fucked up trend, but hang on there, it's a reflection of them, not you.
Man's good looking, and then I look at him and then he doesn't approach me. Like, did you not see me just look right at you? Like, that was your sign. Like, that was me shooting my shot. Like, I looked right at you. Like, I looked away pretty quickly. Like, it was kind of one of these, ooh, you know? But, like, that was your sign.
Men are sick and tired of this. Men are sick and tired of women saying that it's all about them. It's all, it's about what men bring to the table, because women are the table, and her presence is simply enough. Men are done with this. Men are done with this nonsense. Who should pay on the first date? It should always be a man. So you have women who are not traditional, who want traditional men. Think about this very carefully. All of these women who are feminists, and I'm not blaming feminism, I'm not saying anything poorly about feminism, but all of these women who are feminists expect a man to treat them like traditional women, even though they are not traditional women. They will tell you immediately that they are not traditional women, but they want traditional men. They want a man to provide for them, protect them, give them everything that they need, but they give men nothing in return. And on top of it, just a bit, just even going out for a meal is not enough. They have to go out to an expensive restaurant. They have to be fed well. They want to go to a nice steakhouse. Guys, they think that men are so dumb now that they cannot figure out that they're being taken advantage of. And it's like that they're just going to keep on pushing this until eventually, men say enough is enough. Men have woken up. Men realize they are being taken advantage of. Men realize that they are being used. Men are sick and tired of it. Okay? Men know what's going on. The more she demands that you spend on her, the less she actually even likes you.
I wanted to take you on a first date. Would Pizza Hut be okay?
It depends.
What would it depend on?
How much I liked you. It would depend.
So for the guys who you like the least amount, where would you want them to take you?
Like a 5-star steakhouse.
And the guys you like the most, where would you go with them?
I would probably expect less, just because I like them.
But why make the man that you like the least amount invest more up front than the guys who you're more attracted to?
Because he's got to work for it. Since I like him the least amount, he's got to work for it. At least I'm giving him a chance.
You're the prize in a relationship.
Yeah. Exactly. Why wouldn't we be?
But the more attractive guy, he's a prize to you.
Not really. They're never a prize. No. I believe the woman's always a prize. Man should work for a woman.
And what should a woman do for a man?
That's a good...
woman who has ever gone on a date only because you wanted a free meal? I'd love for you to raise your hands in the comment section. If you're a woman who goes into dating thinking specifically, how can I eat for free tonight? I would love to have a dialogue with you about this. I don't know any women who have enough time, energy, or the desire to go through everything that it takes to find someone to go on a date with them just so that they can get one meal.
I wanted to take you on a first date. What do you expect out of it?
A good meal, like good conversation, and then like at the end, honestly, decide like if you think you're gonna work out or not.
Would you be open to kissing on the first date?
Depends on the vibes. I don't know.
What about sex?
Depends on the vibes. Probably not. I don't know. See where the night takes you. Like if we like hit it off, so great, amazing. Maybe, but probably not. I don't know.
How much would a good meal cost in your eyes?
I don't even feel like it's got to be that expensive. I love a good hot dog, so.
We could go to the fair and just eat hot dogs, no rides, maybe do a couple games, and you'd be cool with that?
Yeah, as long as you put effort into it.
Age?
25.
Are you single?
I am single.
How easy is it to get a man to commit to you?
Pretty easy if I like him enough.
Walk me through.
She has criteria. Big, black, bald, bearded. That's my criteria.
But hold on. What's the difference between a big bald black man and a big bald white man, or a big bald Indian man?
One's white, one's black. That's the difference.
You don't think that's like superficial? You're just looking at the characteristics like that?
I can be superficial. I think when I'm living and dating to plan a future with somebody, I get to be superficial. I get to be picky.
So why limit yourself?
I just always saw myself dating a black man, so that's what I want. I want my kids to be black.
Was your ex big, bald, black, and bearded?
Woody was white. Woody was white. Woody was white. Which is when I realized I don't like white men. I don't want to date white men. There's too many logistics that have to conversation.
You got me there.
First rule of dating, if you ask her out, you're paying. If she wants to split the bill and that's important to her, that's fine, but you need to be fully prepared to pay and pay in full with tip. Do you agree?
I mean, guys, you could see men are just being taken advantage of now. We're being used for money. We're being used by foodies who just want to get a free meal off us, don't actually like us. And if you give a woman enough time to, if you let a woman talk long enough, she will tell on herself and her friends. You know, it is simply put, one thing that men have to stop doing is going out with women who are just looking for a free meal, for, you know, telling them, hey, you need to cash at me before we even go out. There's a reason why MGTOW is destroying the economy. You have a lot of leftover women now, even in China. So MGTOW is spreading to China. It's spreading to China, and you have a lot of women who are now in China. They can't find a man. They can't get married. They can't, and they don't want to settle. They're basically going to be single forever, and their life is absolutely in tatters. And even then, they still don't want to. They still don't know what to do. You have all of these leftover women that are absolutely crying their eyes out because men have walked away from society. These are the same women that say that they want $800,000 just to get married to them. And these women are like 40 years old. Like, you can see how women have changed so much where, you know, a good man is no longer good enough for them. You have women who are saying that men who are 6 feet tall are now too short. I had one, literally, you have women rejecting, women who have children, multiple children, are rejecting men, saying that 6 feet tall, men who are 6 feet tall now are short kings. Short kings. Okay? So now you have to be above 6 feet tall. You have to be above 6 feet tall. You got to do better than 6 inches. All right? You have to basically look like a Greek god. So a 6-pack is not enough. You have to basically have that Tyrone bod. And you have to make above 6 figures. Okay, $100,000 is not enough anymore. $200,000 is not enough anymore. All right, $1 million. They're saying that $1 million is not even a lot of money. And then you wonder why men are opting out of society relationships and just walking away entirely and saying, we are done. We're not going to play this game anymore. We are going to completely just opt out, focus on ourselves, focus on our own happiness, stay at home, survive and thrive, make just enough money to survive and thrive, and that's it. Put our extra money into Bitcoin, crypto, real estate, stocks, and watch it grow. And if we want physical intimacy, we'll leave the country. We'll go overseas. We'll become MWAs. We'll walk away. We'll go overseas, become passport bros, passport kings, and find someone over there. But we're not going to play this game in Western society anymore. And they have no recourse for this. And as a result of that, they don't know what to do. They do not know what to do at all.
Feels too real. The heartfelt words of a 38-year-old unmarried woman in Guangdong are heartbreaking.
I was forced to go on a blind date again yesterday. Let me share my thoughts. I am a 38-year-old unmarried woman, still single and without a partner. I deeply regret not getting married earlier, not finding a husband sooner. I agree with those who think this way, but I realized it too late. Before turning 30, my expectations were unrealistic. Back then, I had no shortage of suitors and had several relationships, but I ended them for the smallest reasons and lacked a clear and complete understanding of myself. Now, my requirements for blind dates are getting lower and lower. I can even consider a divorced man without children. I hope my sisters can recognize their own situation and get married early, really. After 30, there are far fewer opportunities. Some potential partners won't even consider meeting you if they hear your age. Some sisters say that after 30, women are more mature and sensible. Do you believe that? It's just self-comfort. I don't dare to look at my photos from when I was 25, feeling foolish at that time. I was in my prime and could easily marry if I had been smarter. I wouldn't be in this situation now. Life is like a dream, and a year passes in the blink of an eye. Those who say they absolutely can't lower their standards after 30 and would rather not marry if it's not right, do you believe that? Your own worth has decreased. How can you not lower your standards? This is naive and unrealistic thinking. Men are still picky about you. Now, I'm under extreme pressure, sometimes crying for no reason at night. Now, when my parents see my situation, they just sigh. I feel helpless. My parents used to joke about getting a good deal while young. I found it inconceivable, thinking how can love and marriage be a transaction? But later, I realized it really is like that. Back then, I overrated myself and delayed too long. In 2005, I had a good relationship. The boy treated me well, and I liked him too. The only flaw was that his family's financial situation was average, and he couldn't afford a house at the time. My parents said, "If you two feel good about each other, get married. We'll help with the down payment for the house." I didn't agree and broke up with him. At that time, housing prices weren't high, but I stubbornly believed that a man must have a house. Now thinking back, why did I worry about those things? Sisters, really, after 30, your value depreciates. Even if you don't admit or resist it internally, it's a fact. Can you say your state at 35, whether in appearance or physical function, is better than at 25? Saying you are more mature and sensible is just self-comfort. You might not think you've depreciated, but society.
Last year's May 20th Internet Valentine's Day was particularly different. It's not just the flowers scattered all over the ground that are broken, but also the hearts of single and gold-digging women in China. The loudest cries online come from them. A lady who claims to represent older single women said, "Do older single women feel like breaking down on May 20th? I am breaking down, really breaking down. From the moment I woke up this morning until now, I haven't received a single greeting. No one sent me a milk tea, let alone a gift or a red envelope. Do you think I should break down or not?" The key thing is that there's something even more heartbreaking. Right now, I just want to give men gifts, send them rent envelopes, and order them milk tea. I want men to feel the warmth and care that we older single women can give. But I can't even find such a person. I want to be a simp right now. Does that make sense? But I don't even have the opportunity to be a simp. Do you think being a simp is bad?
So, do you hear this? This is shy to y'all. They're like, I want to be a simp right now. I want to take care of a man. I want to make him feel good and happy. Guys, what they're trying to do is to buy a man's love and affection. There's nothing natural about it. So they're 38 years old, can't find a man, and now basically so desperate that they want to try to act like they're a kind, compassionate, caring woman that wants to give love to a man. Suddenly she realizes that no. You know, Soraya, for example, she talked about her relationship with her husband. When she brought him over to Germany, she paid for everything, okay? She brought him over there. She covered, he didn't have to pay to stay anywhere. He didn't have to pay for the food. She covered everything. This was like 20 years ago, okay? Like 20 years ago. He was an average African-American man, and he was blown away by the steps that she would go to lock down this man. She knew what she wanted, and she went hard to get him, and they've been together ever since, okay? And now women are coming after her because she's saying that Black women in Western society cannot compete with women overseas because women overseas are fit, feminine, friendly, and they will compete for men. A guy goes to a bar, a guy goes to a club, a woman will buy him a drink, a woman will approach him, okay? These women are not messing around. The Filipinas are not messing around. A man goes to the Philippines. Physical intimacy, it comes in the beginning, All right, that comes right away. Everything comes right. All right, that's just her foot in the door. She's gonna start cooking for that man, cleaning for that man, washing that man's clothes, giving him back massages. Okay, ask him if he's hungry, preparing him food immediately, finding out how he operates. Is he an introvert or an extrovert? Does he like to talk a lot, or does he like to be quiet? Or is he more quiet? She's going to learn his mood, learn his routine, and then basically kind of work around that and build her and compose herself around him. Okay? This is how they operate. She's going to make him feel like a king, and she's going to do so much to add value quickly in his life and show that she is a team player, and she's on his timetable. She wants to be a part of his mission. She wants to be a part of his purpose. She wants to help him build his brand. That a man is going to say, wow, this is amazing. And a lot of guys, don't realize that's just the basics. A woman who can cook, or who is fit, feminine, and friendly, those are just the basics. A woman who cooks and cleans, those are just the basics. As men, most of us can cook and clean. But in Western society, the average woman cannot cook and clean even for herself. Modern women cannot take care of themselves. They cannot cook for themselves. If they don't have a man to take them out, an evening for food, many of them don't eat. All right. Part of it is inflation. They can't afford anything. And another part of it is, even if they had the food, they cannot prepare the food. They believe that, a real man will provide all the food, will provide everything they need. They'll provide a person to cook, to clean for them, and they'll provide all the food that they need, so they can Uber it. They can order Uber Eats and DoorDash whenever they feel like it. They'll have a chef to cook for them. Like, what kind of nonsense is this? What kind of reality are they living in? Even billionaires, a lot of billionaires aren't living like this. They prepare their own food. They try to keep it they try to keep their lives at least somewhat balanced, somewhat normal. But these, you have women now going around saying that $1 million is not even a lot of money. You have women putting trillionaire gang in their bios, trillionaire gang, saying that women deserve trillionaires. And they're not joking around. They are so serious. But then at the same time, what they don't tell you is that a lot of these single women, they're at home crying themselves to sleep because they are lonely, they are miserable, they feel terrible because, yeah, sure, they can find a guy, but they can no longer connect with a good guy because they're so used to chasing, to being in relationships with Chad and Tyrone, Ray, Pookie, Little Poncho, Enrique. But these men, these are not pair bonding men. These are not men that they can pair bond with. But many of them have now lost the ability to pair bond because of their expectations and their constant need for excitement. And they've been with so many of these different guys and had so many experiences that they keep track of. Oh, I was with this guy who, he was like 10 inches. I was with this guy who was a millionaire, or, worth over $100 million, or a billionaire. I was with this athlete. I was with like 10 different athletes. And now they think that they are high value because they've been with all of these different guys and were physically intimate with all of these different guys. So how can how can they settle for a guy who's 5'10", when they've been with a guy who is 6'7"? How can they settle for a guy that makes $100,000 a year when they've been with guys who make millions of dollars a year? They've been on private jets. They've been treated for things. They've been given things that they never had to work for. So how can they settle for a guy that is well above average in this economy, in this society? But that guy is still no longer good enough for them. A guy making over $100,000 a year is above average. Okay, a guy who is 5'10", making over $100,000 a year. That's fit, and that's still in, let's say, his 30s or early 40s. That's above average. That's above average, but that's not good enough for modern women. Okay. And the thing is that when they get these high value men, they don't even love them. Those are the plan B guys. Plan A guys are the guys that are worth like $100 million, or famous celebrities and athletes like LeBron James. Those are the plan A guys. The really, really rich and uber famous guys who are just, millionaires. Those are the plan B guys. Guys, what are the implications of this? Where does it leave women? The consequences are we have 45% of women that are going to be childless and single come between the ages of 25 and 44, come 2030. And that's only counting single women. That's not counting single and say single, that's only counting single and childless women. That's not counting single women with children. When you count those women in there, you're looking at around 70 to 80%. And men going their own way, they're dropping out of the economy. They're not working. They're not working full time anymore. They're only working enough to survive and thrive and no more. And even if they do work full time, they're not working more than that. Because men who have children and wives, these guys are putting in 60 to 80 hours a week, sometimes more than that. That's the reason why fathers have the worst hearts, while men who have never been married are beginning to outlive women in Western society. Guys, the consequences for women is that you're going to have a lot of women falling into destitution, as so many men are no longer marrying. The government can't even pay the interest on all of its debt. So there's no way it's going to be able to subsidize the living of all of these single women, and men are going to keep that to themselves. They're going to keep the portion of money that they would be spending on women, on dates and marriage, on children, to themselves, and they're going to be investing in themselves. And men, the average man, is a minimalist. So the average man will live happily in a shoebox at the side of the road. They don't need a lot to survive. They don't want a lot from a relationship. They just want their peace. And women just, this puts women between a rock and a hard place. It's the honest to goodness truth. Women brought this reality to themselves, and men are just here like, yeah, this is it. And they think that they're going to shame us. Well, guess what? Forget about it.
No. It's a fascinating story.
7 million men. And they're watching 7 additional hours
I was
of
going to
TV
say that.
and relaxing.
Yeah,
per
that
day.
figure got me. Are the women in their lives or the partners in their lives working?
So this is where it gets a little bit political. People on the right will say these guys are just living off government largesse. They're getting disability, they're benefiting from aid, and that's got to be reformed. And people on the left say they just need to be trained up. And yeah, in the meantime, they're living at home or they're depending on partners.
You mentioned this skills mismatch, and it just made me think, my grandfather was a machinist, which is a highly skilled job. Not anybody, you have to be trained to do that. And I don't know a lot of machinists now in 2023. And I wonder if people are being trained for that. And he mentions Mike.
So Mike Rowe has a foundation called Mike Rowe Works, where he does give people scholarships for that kind of training. That's part of the issue. But like Carla Trotman, the woman in Philadelphia who runs the circuit board manufacturing facility, she'll train you herself. If you're in the Philadelphia area, they're looking for 15 people there. It pays well. It's a nice, clean, quiet place to work. So go there. By the way, some people think, oh, maybe these guys are doing more stay-at-home dadding. That's an optimistic point of view. I looked at the numbers. Shauna Thomas, our executive producer, brought this up. In fact, these guys who are not working and not looking for work are spending less time caring for other household members than the guys who are at work. So they're doing less childcare, not even a little bit more.
I don't know, but an able-bodied man who can work and doesn't, it's not attractive.
See, here's the thing. Men don't care if what anyone thinks. Men don't care if anyone finds it attractive or not. All right. What do they immediately go to? Women immediately go to sign language, shame, insults, guilt, gaslighting, because they need to be right. And they'll completely deny everything, like how poorly men are treated in society, and instead say that men need to man up. Men need to do as they're told. Men need to stop, being sissies about it. Men need to be more masculine. But then at the same time, the same women who are saying be more masculine are the ones that are also associating masculinity with being toxic. And then it's no wonder men just say, you know what, we're done. We're taking our ball and we're going home. And now, as you can see, you have these women in China who are crying their eyes out. The simp economy in China has collapsed. Okay? Women have no one to turn to but themselves. They have no one to blame but themselves for the reality. And now you have women who are like warning them, like, sisters, don't do what I did. But of course, most women aren't going to do that. Most women are going to double down and say that, listen, girls, you can live this wonderful life that I have. You can live just like me. You can have it all. I have it all. Look how wonderful my life is. And these are the same women who are then crying themselves to sleep at night because they're lonely and they're broke and they're struggling financially and they can't find a good man. They can always find a Chad or a Tyrone to have a good night with, or another one of these low value guys like Little Poncho, but to actually settle down with and have children with and form a family with, a lot of these good men are done. A lot of these good men, if they really want that, they're going overseas and they're finding someone who's fit, feminine, and friendly, and that's going to provide value and be a part of their mission in life.
Can you escape or refute this? I used to firmly believe that if I couldn't marry well, I wouldn't marry at all. But as I got older, I could only marry worse. Sisters, I'm a typical example. I've realized this now, but it's too late. I am about to collapse. I'm 38 years old. How can I compete with young girls? These years, I've lowered my standards again and again. Sometimes I even think about paying a college boy to get pregnant and become a single mother. I really like children and fear being lonely when I'm old. Once I reach 40, even getting pregnant will be a problem. Sisters, I advise you to accept reality and not be misled by some girl's statement.
She says once she reaches 40, it will be hard for her to get pregnant. She doesn't even comprehend that at 35, that's a geriatric pregnancy. And to be very, very clear, 35 is basically the very latest, all right? Even at 30, there can be complications. Women should, on average, be having their kids in their mid to early 20s, in their early 20s to their mid 20s. That's really when they should be having their kids. They should not be having kids past their 20s, okay? It's just the truth. It's the honest to goodness truth. You know, a lot, and we know statistically that women who have children that are older, they're more likely to develop cancer. They're more likely to have health complications later on in life. They're more likely to be serious health implications for the woman if she has children later, and also the children themselves. The children are more likely to have mental health issues. They're more likely to have behavioral issues. They're more likely to have physical issues, deformities. Women are not designed to have children at that age, and yet you have so many women that are like, yes we can, we can, you know, I'm not going to have a kid until I'm in my 40s, pushing even 50. I know someone who had a kid at 48. Yes, sisters, yes. Don't listen to these men, all right? Don't listen to these broke boys. You do what you want to do. You do you, sis. And then, of course, you also have other women who are coming to like the comment section saying that men need to help women who never had children and never got married because we are brothers and sisters, and men need to come back and help the community of women. And then when you say, well, listen, if you want someone to help you, you know, you're going to have to turn to the state, because men are only going to help their family members. They're going to help people that they're in a relationship with. They're like, what? No help for sisters? If you are not if there is no physical intimacy, no help for sisters. If you are not married, you are a bad person. You are a bad man. You know, like this is how they react. They don't want to take accountability for the choices they've made, and now they expect men to bail them out because many of them are realizing they're childless, they're single, and the state isn't going to bail them out, because the more that, you know, they try to tax men, the more men will just reduce their tax liability and earn less money. And there's an entire system of men that are now bartering. They're just bartering everything. There's a sub-market, a market of bartering where men trade services and products and whatever through for value. So for example, if you want to buy something from someone, you know, you can say, well, I have this I'm a plumber, or I have this skill, I have that skill. And you know, okay, oh yeah, well, I have this product, I have these things, like I have these Pokemon cards, or I have these Legos, or I have these tools or whatever, and I'll give you this in return for your skills. Like, this is really what's happening right now. And men are doing this to avoid paying taxes, avoid using cash, completely decentralizing everything. We are returning to a system of bartering. And men are basically walking away and opting out of society. So what are the consequences? The consequences for women are, are basically not great. The consequences for women will be women basically finding themselves having to rely more on charities, living in shelters, facing old age, dealing with homelessness, accessing health, accessing medication, accessing food. It's going to be very, very hard. And it's also going to affect the lifespan of women. We already know that Gen Z and millennial women young millennial women have shorter lifespans than women who were born in 1928. They have higher mortality rates when pregnant and when giving birth than women born almost 100 years ago. They have the lowest well-being of all women over the last 100 years, despite the fact that they are now more educated than any other group of women in history. They are making more money than any other group than women have ever made in history. They have more freedom than any other group of women in history, and their well-being is lower than women in third world countries right now. How is that possible? Make that make sense. And the reason why is because women were not designed to live without husbands. So the future for women, as a result of men going their own way, is a society, is a world where women are going to struggle a lot more. and listening to simps who are telling them to, demand all of these things from men, demand that the man provide for them this and this and this. They're only doing a disservice. And you have women calling out these simps now, like, ladies, don't listen to these men. These men who are telling you these things are only going to result in more men, you driving more good men away. By the way, guys, if you're enjoying the content, consider checking out, consider subscribing to our newsletter for my personal thoughts, insights, and a free copy of my ebook, The Blueprint for Escaping the Rat Race. Click the link in the description to get your free copy. What do you guys think regarding all of this? Men going their own way are destroying the economy. Let me know your thoughts, and we'll talk about it in the comments. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe, and if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWA, men walking away, and cheers.